Hi, my name is Rakapenda, and no, this is not a Slayer video. I wanted to start documenting sort of like a year in review going forward so that I can look back on it. It's one of the main regrets that I have is that I didn't start making videos or progress updates sooner. I mean, I track some of it on Twitter, but sometimes video format, just seeing general progress like that works better in video form. So I picked up a cold over Christmas, so if I sound a little off and stuffy, that's why. And also, this video is going to be a bit of a ramble, not so much scripted. I have some bullet points of stuff I want to hit, but yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna do it in 3 sections. We're gonna talk about leagues a little bit. I wasn't planning on making a league series video or anything like that, so this is sort of just to summarize how I experience leagues and what I thought of in general. And then we'll look at Jagex's year in review summary thing. We'll end it off with what our bank currently looks like and also where we are in the collection log. And then we'll finish with some experience charts and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do the experience charts with Jagex's review, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so leagues. It took me 12 days to get Dragon Rank. I was hitting it pretty hard. I wasn't going for points for rewards and stuff. I had more than enough for that. The main goal was just for Dragon Rank. The type of build I went for was a melee-based build, 6-4 build. I did basically no mage at all. The other reason why you'd want to take mage 1 here is for doing Tob and like the Phase 1 Verzic Scepter. I didn't realize these things made sounds like that. That's kind of annoying. And I got through that just fine, so it wasn't not really needed. I'd much rather have the heal for the bullet pipe. The regions I chose were Tyrnwyn, Fremi, and Mauritania. Mauritania for the raids, Fremi because the DK items were insane, and Tyrnwyn, obviously I'm in Tyrnwyn with Crystal because of the Crystal Blessing. So this is my end build. I got this basically a day or two before ending with the Scythe from Tob. So you got the Crystal Blessing, which works with the Crystal Armor, gives you the melee, gives you the bonuses of the Crystal Armor for melee. Slayer Helm for Mauritania. Basically everything is on task, so you always have that 16.67% bonus there. Got the Gloves of the Damned from Grotesque Guardians, and this is just glorified Barrow's Gloves is all it is. It's good, don't get me wrong, but I didn't do anything with the Barrow's items specifically. I just got it for the Barrow's Gloves. And then the Emperor Ring and the Amulet Monarchs from DKs are just double the best in slots of current main game for all styles. It's just, it's so overpowered. I think they made a mistake with that, putting both of them on DKs. I think the ring on DKs would have been sufficient enough, and then put like the amulet on Thermi, and maybe people have chosen Kandarin more, but so let's talk about the Echo Bosses first, and then we'll talk about like the how leagues went for me, and then we'll go from there. So we'll start with the DK's boss. It was really interesting going into that because the DKs are normally a 4-tick attack cycle, and going in there it's a 5-tick attack cycle. But I think they leaned into the same attack pattern that Tormented Demons have. If you've ever done the 3 or even 2 Tormented Demon at once combat achievements, you'll know that they sync up and they're always in sync. And with the DKs, no matter where they are in the cycle, they will always attack in the same order at the same time. So if you outrange one or the other, or like Rex specifically, if you get out of range of him, he won't attack until it's his turn in the cycle, no matter what. It took a couple of tries to get used to the attack cycle for the enrage phase, because you have to move every single attack cycle because the poison splats are coming out at you. But the way that it worked was mage, range, melee, and then I would switch back to mage, move, and then click back on DK, or click back on Rex, and that would like reset the cycle there. Overall, it was a very interesting fight. I enjoyed it. Grotesque Guardians, on the other hand, was a mess when it comes to dealing with the random mechanics. Like it is the base it's the base fight, but more bullshit. Now you can certainly avoid all this stuff, but if you happen to make a mistake and you get caught in a stun cycle, you can just keep getting stun locked and hit and stun locked and hit and just fall over dying. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. But you're only doing this fight 5 or 10 times. You probably only get stun locked once or twice like that. Like it's fine. Certainly not ready for bringing it to the main game if that ever could happen, would happen, whatever. And then Corrupted Gauntlet. So the highest CA for Echo Boss KC was 75. I don't think these bosses were meant to be killed 300, 400 times like Huntliff was. Now, it's the base fight. You don't have to do the prep. That's all fine. But I wish that the Echo Huntliff had a better rate for like enhanced seeds than the base, right? Because I was here a full day just doing Gauntlet. I didn't get the Bofa. I have it now, but I had to go back for it the next day or a couple days later when I wanted to go for Inferno because I was not getting lucky. I went, was that 3.5 times, something like that, almost 4 times, which on leagues kind of sucks because it really hurts your flow state here. But as far as the boss fight itself goes, I didn't realize that there was a dagger in your inventory for like 10 kills. I had tier 6 melee at the time, so I was just meleeing it the whole time. And then someone mentioned, why aren't you using the dagger? Oh, there's a dagger. Oh, okay. Well, that dagger disables the overhead purge. So that's how you're supposed to fight this thing. You're supposed to disable its prayer every 25% HP, and then it's like a normal Huntliff fight where you switch attack styles, or if you're focused on one style, then it's 5-1. And you have all tier 3 weapons, so it's not as detrimental to swap to one of the other styles. It was a little weird and challenging as a meleeer doing that because you attack so fast that you need to dagger spec and then immediately switch to a range or mage to get that first attack not on melee so you can start the cycle. If you don't catch it in time and you dagger poke, well then it's like you didn't even disable the prayer. You have to do 6 attacks with an off style to get it off of melee so you can go back to melee, and yeah, it kind of sucked that way. But anyway, overall it was a good fight. I enjoyed it a lot more than doing the gauntlet proper with all the prep and stuff. So those are the 3 echo bosses that I had. Let's talk a little bit about the relics and my choices there. I started out with Animal Wrangler. I think most people did. For the obvious reason of, hey, I can AFK Kurum bonds for fishing and cooking experience. That's pretty much it. Combined with the Friendly Forager immediately after that, that solved Herblore for me. I struggled with Herblore in the last league, even though I was doing a bunch of farm runs and stuff. And with Production Prod, last league, you were doubling the herbs that you got. And so I was very scarred by that last league, and I really wanted to make sure that my herbs were sorted this league. And then we took Coup Compass. Again, I think most people took this one. I had Fairy's Fight last league, which was very useful for all the farming that I was doing. And so it would have still been as strong of a choice this league, but Clue Compass made clues simple and fast. Like it was amazing. I'm glad I took it. Clears the other 2 out of the water. For tier 4, I took Reloaded for dodgy deals, and I took dodgy deals to be able to AFK Vyres and Elves, and then as the league went on, we realized that, you can do Elves almost entirely, get shards, and then use that to train smithing and crafting via making armors, making crystal armors. So by taking dodgy deals here, that was, free 50 mil thieving, free 50 mil crafting, free 50 mil smithing. And then later, we realized that, the underwater agility thieving was a great way to train agility. Like it was 3 mil an hour or something agility experience, which is way more than Sepulchre could do. A lot less effort. You could do other AFK skills while you're there with Banker's Note. You just bring a bunch of supplies and do them underwater while you're waiting for the stuff to get to you. Like this ended up being 450 mils plus in itself, so I don't regret taking that. Golden God was certainly very, very strong. Last league I had Fire Sale, which meant that you could go out and buy smithing, cooking, crafting, fletching. Like Golden God essentially is the same way now. It just takes a little while to accumulate the gold first. And being able to buy stuff from stores in noted form, certainly useful for that. I don't think it was as strong as Dodgy Deals was on, for me on this tier. Forager was again a no-brainer. I had to take it anyways for Herblore, but I don't regret not taking Golden God. Equilibrium was a good one, and I think it's the same as it was back then. Last league I took it, and Equilibrium plus Fire Sale plus Production Prod meant that you could do all of your skilling at once. Each one would trigger additional experience from Equilibrium. It was a great combo for skilling. The fact that they're all 3 on this one was, kind of a hard choice, but Equilibrium was the weakest one for me. For these 3, Slayer Master, I don't regret taking Slayer Master because I was always on task everywhere for the Slayer Helm. So that just kind of, again, made the build having a Slayer Helm or wherever you go, essentially. Without it, then you just camp Crystal Helm, I guess. For the first couple days, some of the tasks were bugged. You couldn't get Araxite to be able to get Araxer for the necklace, the halberd, and the boots. So that would have really slowed my progress, not being able to do that. And then just, passively getting Slayer experience with everything you're killing. Like it took me almost 500 Zelra to finish getting all the items there. And that, every single one of those was Slayer experience along the way. So, I mean, that was a very good pick for me. Now, I am a bit of a skiller. And so production prod is very, very attractive to me. I wish it was on a different tier so I could take it instead of something else. Just because being able to process your whole inventory at once is amazing. Especially this league. If you don't take Desert, Herblore is really slow. You have to make the unfinished pots before being able to make the potions. Production prod solves that. Like, it's not a problem. You do all at once. This production prod's a lot weaker than it was last league. Last league, you had a chance to produce extra stuff, and it would be deposited in your bank. And so for Herblore, for example, you produce X amount more making the unfinished pots. You'd produce X amount more cleaning the herbs, and then you'd also make more making the potions. So by the time you got from cleaning the herbs to making the potions, you had twice as much potions as you did herbs at the start. Like, it was really, really cool. And then it also synergized well with doing furnaces. Each piece of ore would trigger Equilibrium, and you process it all at once. It was better to do it better to process gold ore at a normal furnace. Blast furnaces processes it all at once, gives you 1 XP drop, so it wouldn't trigger Equilibrium. And so this really offset that and made it better. Same thing with cutting gems. You do your whole inventory at once. The notable change this league was the arrows. You make arrows all at once. You make a full 10. Fletching last league was kind of a pain that way. So this, I think, would have solved that for that. But anyway, didn't end up going that route. Banker's Note, Total Recall. I saw some interesting things that kind of came up with Total Recall. Setting a spot, so you always have 100% spec, kill 1 mob, reset at the spot, kill 1 mob, that sort of thing. But Banker's Note made a lot of stuff, a lot of PVM tasks really easy. Things like, hey, do 15 kills in 1 trip at Vorkath. Okay, cool, I have unlimited food, whatever. P1 Verzik, just stand and tank it all because you have unlimited food. Like, a lot of fun stuff. In addition to, again, skilling stuff, you can note and unnote at will. Made that stuff really, really nice. Making planks, that sort of stuff. I know a lot of people took Overgrown just to solve their farming stuff. I think this one, people were kind of misled a little bit. I know on the description wise, it says one thing. This last thing, if another seed of the same type, it'll just automatically plant it for you. The problem that people found out is, well, if you run out of seed, it won't replant it for you. You have to go and replenish it yourself once you get the seed again. I think it would have been cool if it was, truly, re-upping it even if you ran out of seeds, or once you got more seeds. Because that was the struggle, and that I kind of knew that going into it. It's like, okay, cool, yep, it does that, but where are you getting your seeds and your saplings from? Yes, there's a large save on it, but you have to do some master farmers to get your herb seeds. You have to do farming contracts in the farming guild if you want to get a bunch of seeds. Later on, you'll get some tree seeds from PVM and stuff, but if you're relying on that for herbs, you still got to get the seeds. Unfortunately, I ended up taking Grimoire. The ability to have ancients for Tob, lunars from the get go. Like I think I had this before I had Fermi unlocked. But being able to swap between lunars freely, and then also having access to thralls, although they're relatively minor, was nice to be able to swap between those two, or between those at will as needed. Pocket Kingdom, yes, it's like 20 or 48 times better than normal Kingdom, but really, how many maple logs do you need? I think this is by far the weakest one. And then for tier 8, I know a lot of people want Last Stand. I went Guardian. Last Stand is like, I'm going to throw myself at it. I'm going to ignore mechanics. If I die, great, because I get more bonus damage stuff. That's not as fun to me. I know a lot of tasks become easy if you just stand there and tank it and just ignore mechanics and stuff. But having this Guardian always do off damage was a pretty big DPS boost for me, and that's why I really like it. I really wish this Guardian was able to be used at Vorkath. It really sucks having this and then going in there and going, oh yeah, you can't use thralls here. Like, okay, well, come on. Lastly, it couldn't work on Turos and Kurasks. They changed that. Why can't you change Guardian to work at Vorkath? Anyway. And then Specialist, I didn't really have a good melee weapon. The best melee weapon I'd have was the Burning Claws, and frankly, 30% spec down to 20% spec, it's not that great. You'd rather have something that's 50% spec or 60% spec, go down to 20. So like if you had some God Swords or even Claws or something like that. As leagues progress, I got about 5,000 points per day on average to be able to finish in 12 days, essentially. There's so many points behind maxing. I probably more than 10,000, and maybe even double that if you include the tasks that are related to leveling up and skilling and stuff. So like I knew going into this I was going to max. I maxed last league too. It's not that a big deal. Most of the stuff comes passively. There's a few skills that are kind of annoying to do, like fletching, agility, mining. Mining was big. I pretty much lamped every single lamp I had went to mining. We ended up doing a bunch of Volcano. 100 was the KC task, and we turned on experience for that. And we happened to luck into a tool seed. It's the crystal axe there. Totally not expected. Was not going to stick around for it. Just happened to get it, and hey, there's 400 points for getting a tool seed. Pretty cool. There was a lot of tasks like that sort of just came out of nowhere that I wasn't really planning for, especially in the last day. I was originally planning to go for that night and maybe even to the next day to get Dragon. And then as I was wrapping some of the easier tasks up for me, some stuff just started coming out of nowhere. So, starting with, I was using up my crystal shards because I wanted to see, okay, how much more theming do I need to do? And turns out, well, I had enough crystal shards for 50 mil crafting and smithing, so I was doing that. As I was doing that, a crystal imp just happened to walk next to the crystal bowl I was working on, caught it, and hey, look, Elven Signet. All right, well, there's 200 points. I was not expecting. And then I was like, okay, well, going through the list, all right, there's 80 points for Nightmare, 80 points for Fasani's Nightmare, one each, pretty easy. So I went and did those, and 1 KC Fasani Nightmare got the mace. All right, well, there's 200 points I wasn't expecting. And then after doing that stuff, since doing 1 KC of both of those gives you so many combat achievements, I then looked at how much combat achievements I had left, and I was really close to 200 combat achievements. All right, cool. Well, let's go knock out some. I think I was 3 tasks away or something. All right, let's go find something easy enough to go knock out 3 combat achievements real quick. And well, Obor, I don't have all the achievements done, so I went and got a few keys for that. And got an War Club. Well, there's another 80 points. That's, in total, those 4 tasks right there, that's 680 points I wasn't expecting. And so it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm done with leaks then. Well, that's fun. I took the screenshots and hiked out of there. Some other notable drops that I got, I spent a little time at Volcanic Mine. Volcanic Mine on leagues is 40 times faster to get the dragon pick than it is on main game. It's a mini game, so you get 8 times the point gain, and then the drop rate for the pickaxe itself is also increased by 5 times. So it's 1 in 20 per pack instead of 1 in 100. That means that it's 40 times faster. So it's about an hour to hit the drop rate for that. Oh, and then I forgot, I also got a Volcano Shard from Volcano too. So the only thing I'm upset about as far as drops that I got from the league is I got a 1 KC Jar of Venom from Araxer and a relatively early, it was like within 100 KC or something like that, Jar of Swamp from Zulrah. Both of those I don't have main game. I'm currently dry for the Jar of Venom, and I'm probably getting close to being dry for the Jar of Swamp. It sucks for me because they're not boosted drop rates. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I understand that, but every league it seems I get something I don't have on main game. That's where part of the stuff on leagues, I don't want to do stuff I don't have on the main game for this very reason, because I know it makes me upset. In previous leagues, I would avoid doing PVM for pet grinds that I don't have on main game. That's sort of stuff, because most of the stuff are not boosted drop rates. In fact, all the pets are not technically boosted drop rates. There's some areas where you can get pet rolls faster because the points are boosted, or like unsired are boosted, therefore pet rate is technically boosted. But for the most part, it's not boosted aside from completing the content faster. But yeah, so it sucks that 2 of the jars that I don't have I got really, really quickly and early on here, but yeah, it is what it is. So we'll keep going for them in the main game. Is there anything else of note in here before we move on to? Oh, so I said I got those 680 points just out of the blue that I really wasn't planning for. Well, what I was planning to do was cash in some of these clues and do that stuff. So the fact that those things saved me from doing more clues was great. As fun, as fast as they are in leagues, I still don't really like doing massive amounts of clues like that. And fortunately, this league they reduced the amount of points that were awarded from clues to kind of de-incentivize people just only doing clues ever. All right, so let's talk about the year-end review. On the login screen, they have this little bit of a snapshot, which just for me says, hey, you gained a ton of experience, you played a lot of hours and that sort of stuff. Fire making a most trained skill, that's duh. I mean, I was only 30-something mil before I started it versus over 50 mil of the hunter, so going both of those to 200 mil, it makes sense if that is the case. Login streak 336 days. I wonder why that is. I wonder where I lost a stretch. In addition to the login screen, they also email you like a year in review sort of stuff. So we'll start with the overall progress. Most played minigame? None. I think that's a lie. I was going to look at this before and I forgot. I think this was the year I did Trouble Brewing. So let me just scroll back. Yeah. So that's a lie. Trouble Brewing would have been my biggest one. Teleports gas, most boss killed, Winter Todd, yeah, of course. I don't do any PKing. Quests are just the new ones. CAs, 90 of them. Most of them are the new ones. I haven't done a whole lot of the legacy ones, but we'll get into the remainder of that when we get back to the main game. Nerd log, only 9 nerd logs at 6 hours. So this thing must only trigger if it actually forces you out at 6 hours, because there were way more times that it's like 5:30, 5:45, and I'm getting close to logging out, and then I manually log out. So I think next year, if they decide to have this little statistic, make it so that it's at 5 hours and 30 minutes. Anytime that you log out after 5 hours and 30 minutes, count that as a nerd log, because they notify you when there's 30 minutes left, they notify you when there's 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. So I don't think this is a fair statistic. Value of uniques drop 2 bill. I wonder if that's because I didn't do a whole lot of raiding this year, so I'm wondering if that's just like Amulet of Rancor and the Twisted Synapse and that stuff. Next one we'll do Clue Scrolls. This is a bunch of clue scrolls that I did, and most of this is before I started Slayer. So this is like finishing up Muspa and that stuff. Since then, I've not done a whole lot. Like, I've been stacking all my clues for Slayer, but again, we'll get to that when we get to the bank. The Varlamore stuff, Mixology orders, it's about how much it took to greenlog it, of course. The 3.2 million bone shards, that's all from Hunter Rumors, of course. The Rumors investigated similarly. Boss kills, I wonder... That must be Moxie plus Huey. What other bosses are there? Oh, and then the Perilous Moons, I guess, yeah. And then the Coliseum Waves 2265. That's a lot of Wave 1 resetting, just to bless my quiver. For me, it was more consistent, and yeah, I could get it done in a day or two. And then last but not least, the experience. Should be no surprise. 150 fire making, 140 million hunter. The cooking, of course, is from the Hunter Rumors mostly. The construction is also from that, as well as all the stockpiled stuff that I had over the year. Actually, no, the construction, that's a lot of leftovers, because I remember taking a break after finishing Rumors and using up all the planks and stuff. Sorry, after finishing getting the Ketson pet, I went and took a little bit of time off and used up some of the planks that I accumulated. So most of that was from like Kingdom and as well as Chambers, just using up all that stuff. Fletching, I had a lot of darts and stuff banked that I used up during Hunter. Smithing, I had a lot of stuff banked from like Chambers and whatnot. Prayer, again, that's mostly Rumors. And then all of the, most of the combat stuff, you know, including the Slayer, that is all since finishing Hunter and Fire making. 18.6, so we got the first video was like 6 mil, second video was 10 mil, and then it's probably like 2 mil after that. But more interestingly enough for me, I think it's going to be looking at the total XP chart. For that, I need to bring up Temple. Alright, so let's see if we can get it for the last year. Now, this is being recorded on the 2nd, but it's going to be close enough. Overall, EHB, I'm ranked 17. EHB for skilling is 46, and total experience is 31 in the high scores. I gained a total of 603 mil for this year. The stuff that's more highlighted in green are, you know, the heavier weighted stuff. That's where I gained the most experience there. Again, this is all from Slayer. This is leftover mostly from Hunters. This is from Wintertod. Crafting, smithing is just as I've been getting it. I've been using it up, doing a lot of stuff on the side. Mining is stars and a bit of sandstone. Herblore just had so much banked from Chambers, and I had a lot banked from Rumors. I'm slowly starting to use it up. When we get to the bank side, I'll show you that I still have a bunch of herbs that I'm trying to use up through traditional Herblore. I don't really plan to go back to the mini game until post Slayer. Slayer 22. And construction, again, is just using up what I had from Chambers and Hunter Rumors. It's interesting to me that even though you're 200 mil, you can still gain ranks over time. So if you look at my farming, my hit points, and my range, I've gained ranks this year in those. And the reason that I can still gain ranks is the people above me get banned and removed from the high scores. And whether that's from botting or being hacked or what, I don't know. I do know that, say, Aloe, the reason why I got a farmer rank, and probably one of each of these, is because, say, Aloe got banned. The rest of them, I have no idea. I just occasionally notice that, oh, I went up a couple ranks. Unlike PVM stuff, your ranks only ever go down. I stopped doing Chambers. I stopped doing these bosses because I finished them, and just from there, just downward trend. That's why I don't really fight for keeping front page or any of that stuff. It's just a big waste of time. Anything notable here, I guess? So in review, January I finished the Chambers grind. That's why there's 90 left on here. That was the final bit. We went back to, we did some Whisperer and finished Virtus. And then we got the Muffin Pet. We did a hell of a lot of Phantom Muspa at the start of the year. Finished at 4826 KC. And then Scurious came out around that time. We got that at 1967, so that's all of it. Gained 2 million ranks? I wonder why that says that. That's kind of weird. Oh, I bet it. Okay, I bet this was added at a certain point because these were all new bosses, right? Yeah, they're not alphabetical, so it is. Oh, it is by release. Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah. So then Soul came out. I only have one KC at Soul. I haven't gone back for the CAs and the rest of it. We're still working on Araxer. We're currently over the drop rate for the jar. Then the other thing I was working on a lot in the earlier part of the year was Gauntlet. Did about 1,000 KC this year going for the pet. Finished at 1739 corrupted Gauntlet for the Hunliff pet. Then in April, the rumors got the Ketson pet at 1207 rumors. Then we went to Perilous Moons. Then got our Quiver. And then pretty much after that, in April, May, that's when we started the Hunter grind. So we haven't done a whole lot of PVM since then. It was Hunter pretty much straight all the way through, fire making all the way through, and then from there it's been just Slayer for the last 2.5 months. And that's where this stuff comes from. This is all just Slayer. And this krill, well, I guess half of this krill is probably a bingo. There's one bingo over the year where I was at krill the whole weekend, or at least a day of the weekend. And then as I was editing the video, I realized I didn't go over where we currently stand on our skills on the journey to 200 mil. So we'll start, left column, work our way down. So attack, 130 mil, 153 mil for strength, and 119, almost 120 mil for defense. Again, these will probably be 200 mil by the time we're done with Slayer, just because we're getting a lot of melee tasks. We're focused on that. Range is already 200 mil. Prayer, the interesting thing is with Prayer that for a lot of tasks, I'm actually getting about half the Slayer experience from the task in Prayer experience. So like Demonic Gorillas, Neck Reels, anything that drops ashes or some higher level bones sort of offsets or sort of gives me a decent chunk of prayer passively through Slayer now. You got Ensouled Heads, you've got the Ectofuntus for Abbey specs. Everything gives prayer now, which is really, really nice. Magic 135. Again, this one will be 200 mil by the time we're done. Once the combats are all 200 mil, at that point we're only focused on getting Slayer experience, and so we can start doing things like using the Venator bow for AoE cannon tasks, or even Dust Devils if we wanted. If it ends up being higher Slayer experience, we'll do that instead of focusing on burst tasks, because right now for burst tasks I'm trying to get magic and defense. That's why I'm choosing to do that over like a Venator bow. Arax or Araxites, I'll be doing melee Araxites until we're done with the melees, and then go back to V-bowing them probably. Runecrafting, haven't touched, so this has been 31 mil the entire year. I don't foresee me touching this skill at all this year, maybe even next year. I mean, I'm focused on this year. We'll worry about the years after that when we get to them. Construction, this is pretty much, I use planks up every month or so, just so it's not 100,000 planks to turn into planks and then use them. So I use these up, again, every couple months I'll cash in the experience that I got, just to mix things up so it's not entirely PVM at all times. HPs are ready. Agility, I am running low on stams, so I might start using some of my evening mobile AFK time or mobile chill time to do some laps and start getting some stamina back in the bank. But again, this is not a priority right now. Herblore, I have at least 4 mil worth of Herb XP in traditional Herblore, in addition to whatever I've been accumulating since finishing the Herblore minigame. So we'll just keep using them up in the evenings as I get them. And yeah, we'll reassess where we are with Herblore after Slayer's done. Thieving, kind of the same thing, where it's just not a priority right now. If I need blood shards, I'll go thieve until I get blood shards, and I'll be good for a while. Just not a priority this year. Crafting, I have a lot of crafting banked related to mining. When I have mobile chill time, I'm mining sandstone. When I feel like I want to do some active skilling, I'll make some glass using up the sandstone, buckets of sand that I got. Fletching, same thing. I cash in some daily flax and make bows. I'm shelving fletching right now until we figure out exactly what this fletching minigame is about. Because right now it sounds like you can only use unfinished bows, so I'm hesitant to continue making finished bows if you're not going to be able to use them in the minigame. So we'll see how that pans out in the months to come. So yeah, just kind of sitting on the sidelines with that for now. Slayer, we're finishing the year at 85.4 mil. So in the next 2 weeks, we should hit the next milestone. Hunter is obviously done. Mining right now, we're just doing stars when we need some AFK time, like making this video, and then active mining, we'll be doing some sandstone until we have enough for our crafting. Smithing is just kind of a mix it up skill right now as I get ores from like Grotesque Guardians and various other areas. I use it up at Blast Furnace. I like doing them in the evening sometimes for an hour or two. And it's a nice palate cleanser. Gets me some variety in the day-to-day rather than just all Slayer. Fishing, haven't really done a whole lot of fishing. Occasionally do, the lava eels when I need. Occasionally do lava eels when I need lava dragon scales for antifires. But really, I'm not training this skill at all right now. Cooking, as I get raw food through various activities, I will spend a little time in the Myth Guild and cook it up. Any of the lower tier food, I'm mixing with leaves to just use up some of that food. I get a little more experience out of those foods. Fire making's done. Woodcutting, not doing at all this year. This will eventually be cutting mahoganies for construction, but again, it's not my priority this year. And farming is already done. So currently at a 1.5 billion cash stack, and that should only grow because I still have a bunch of alcohols to use up. Now I do need, let's see, if it's 1 million planks at 1,500, I basically need all of that money for mahogany planks at some point. So it's good that I have that now. These totems I pretty much use as I get them. When I get a greater demon task or black demon task, I use them up. I just don't want to end 200 mil Slayer and have 1,500 of these to do. After finishing Konar, I used up all the totems that I had, and it took a full day to go through the totems and the clues, and I can't imagine doing that for a month straight if you had 1,500 of these. So as I get black and greater demon task, I've been using them up. My clue stack is getting pretty up there. I might have to open up these hard clues at some point. We have an event going on in the clan called Bullshit Bingo, and on there is a few clue steps, a few clue item steps, and right now I'm probably the closest one to finish this bingo, and I'll really pursue it once I finish Demonic Gorillas and the Obsidian Armor. If the last tile I have is the full God D'hide set, I will be opening up all of these hard clues. I will put them in the Slayer video that follows when I open them. This is just against stocking those up for Slayer, next Slayer video. These I'm getting from Huey and Amoxie. And then just some miscellaneous items as I'm collecting them, like an unfinished Noxious Halberd from Araxor right now, and then some random ballista pieces. The gear tab, probably the highlight, I suppose. Full Torva with Blorva, the Perilous Moons. The ice one, the magic set's currently in the stash. Notably, missing Scythe. Yes, I know. I'm waiting for people to get back from leagues and we can start doing some top again. So this tab is not all of the gear. This tab is just the most useful gear. Stuff that I actually have tasks for, get tasks for. The more niche stuff I actually have in a separate tab back here, and we'll get to that in a bit. And that's just where all the dupes are, all the unimbued rings and that sort of stuff. But this is the main gear tab. This is where if I'm making a new bank tag layout or something like that, this is the go-to. Some notable additions this year are the scorching equipment. The only one that's useful for me long-term is the Emberlight. The rest of it is just in a gear tab. And I've been occasionally using Burning Claws for like Huey Coddle, and I was gonna say I use this on like Blood Velds and stuff. But with the addition of Coliseum, we got the Quiver and the Echo Boots. I don't have Ralos glaive, whatever. We'll go back for it at some time. But... And then, of course, with the racks are coming out, we got the new Amulet Rancor S and Arania boots. We ended up getting everything but the jar at this point, so that's why we have the S. And the Noxus Halberd. So with these Echo boots, I pretty much use these everywhere now that I would have used Devout boots. It's 1 prayer bonus less, but with a whole bunch of extra defense and range defense. So like Infernal, this is now my go-to boots. For DKs, I now bring that. Anywhere that defense somewhat matters, I'll bring the Echo boots. These are still useful for like burst tasks. Although with Mage Change, I technically should be using these because I think that does give me a max hit. But I really like having the extra 5 prayer bonus. And then we have an ammo tab. Cannonballs. I use granite cannonballs pretty much everywhere except for Smoke Devils. They're the only place that I use regular cannonballs with. So this is my runes and teleport tab. All the useful teleports and capes. Combo staffs next to their combo runes. The consumables tab. This is where raw food and raw ingredients for potions, and then all the finished potions are up on top. This year we got this thing called a potion storage, which when I make potions, I throw them in here, and then I can come in here and withdraw them in specific doses. It sounds great on paper, but there's a lot of functionality that they need to tweak and add to make this more useful, because right now it's kind of clunky and I don't really like using it. For one, it can store unfinished potions, so if I accidentally grab a full inventory of unfinished potions and throw them back in the bank, they'll end up in the potion storage. I think the main thing they need to do is, if a potion matches a potion that's already in your bank, have some sort of feature that, hey, if I'm depositing a 4-dose potion, it just goes into my 4-dose stack here. It doesn't get deposited back into my potion storage. Also, if I'm pulling a 4-dose potion from here, it would be really cool if this thing just referenced my potion storage and just had a single placeholder for this to say, hey, withdraw a 4-dose potion. And then if you run out of 4-dose potion, then it just says, hey, you don't have the potions for that. Now, obviously, it wouldn't have the numbers up here, but being able to put a placeholder of a 4-dose or a 3-dose and then just pull infinitely from your storage would be an amazing step. Because right now, if I want to refill these potions, I have to go here. I have to say, okay, I want to withdraw all 4 doses. Great. Now, if I want to deposit them into my bank, I have to first turn off all these deposit potions, then deposit it, then make sure I turn this back on. Now, this feature is great because it grabs the 1-dose, 2-dose, 3 doses, and the doses that I don't care about and puts them back in the storage and accumulates them here. Great. But on the withdrawal side, unless I have the specific dose that I want, these need to be single item placeholders that pull from the potion storage. And I don't know if they can do that, but if they could do that, it would be a great change. This year we also got the prescription goggles and the alchemist amulet. I'm only planning to use this amulet for making Huasca when I get around to going back to the Herblore minigame for that. I don't really use the chugging barrel. Again, its feature is too limited to be useful to me. Yes, it saves 1 click of 1 sip, but really, if this thing could have a heart and food into it, where it really is a true pre-pot device, like it used to be called instead of this chugging barrel, so you could have divine pot, food, heart, and then like an anglerfish overheal in that order, so I could 1 click and be done, that would be great. But right now, you have to use this for divine pots. You have to eat. It's not too useful for me right now. And this is the skilling tab primarily. So up on top, we got all the skilling outfits, including graceful and even zealots. And then moving down, we got the tools, logs, crafting, smithing, and lately it's been prayer. And then because everything nowadays drops orbs, we have to have an orb slot at the bottom. Notable additions this year, skilling-wise, the hunter outfit, which is not in here. Hunter outfit itself was only useful for rumors, and now that that's done, it's just sitting in my house right now. I think at some point the duplicate pieces of those will be able to turn in for more loot, so that'll be cool. This costume needle eliminates the need for thread, which was amazing this year. Really wish I would have had that when I finished the Vorkath grind, but glad that we finally have gotten rid of that slot. Now we can have 27 hides for 9 hides per inventory instead of 8. And then, as we get Sunkissed Bones from Varlamore, Part 2, Part 3 type stuff, turn them into bone shards, get some more prayer. This is the clue tab. So anything that's clue related or clue rewards, like ornament kits that can't be put in the house, or I just don't have the items to put in the house, they end up in this area. Yeah, not really much to say about that. This is the junk skilling and less useful items. It's like the meat, the fur pouch, the hunter kit, where all the dupe pieces are, Shades of More and stuff, and it's just all like the old farming skilling stuff that I'm not using actively right now, so it's in this spot here. It's kind of just where all that stuff ends up. And then this one is the loot tab, I suppose you'd call it. All the dupe pieces, some of the alchables. These are alchables that I can't buy from a store, and so they're separated from the alchables that you can buy from the store, and that's in the next tab. But this is all, the heads and all the random miscellaneous drops that I've gotten. This is where they end up until they're needed or used. This is the elk and seed tab. So PVM dropped a lot of random rune alchables and dragon alchables and stuff, and this is where they end up. If I'm skilling and making d'hide bodies or plate bodies or staffs, bows, this is where they end up. And then the bottom here, the seeds, you might be wondering, well, why aren't you using the seed vault? Because I get so many seed packs that every time I open a seed pack, I'd have to go to the seed vault, deposit them there. I'd have to then withdraw all the seeds that I want to use for herb lore and trees and whatever, and then go back to the bank, deposit them there. Until I'm done with herb lore, this is probably how this is going to look. Once herb lore is done, then we'll whittle this down to just what drops from PVM, so that'd be like the tree seeds and maybe some herb seeds. I doubt I'll be picking up any herb seeds, but some PVM stuff just kind of gives you seeds in like a chest, or you're looting a Raxor, so it ends up in your inventory. You're not actually going out of your way to pick it up. But for now, every seed under the sun that can drop is in here, just because I don't want to deal with the seed vault. Maybe someday they can integrate the seed vault into the bank, kind of like potion storage is, and you can access it from here. Then I might be able to use it, deposit seeds into the seed vault, and then every now and then, like potion storage, pull it out. Although again, ideally, if you have a placeholder, it would just connect them and then let me pull it out from there. But anyway, so yeah, that's what the bank is looking like. Let's look at the collection log, shall we? I miss having this first few rows green. They added 2 new mods this year. Sire, Hydra, they've been green log for quite a while. Moxie came out this year, and I'm waiting for boss tasks to tackle it. Post Slayer, and maybe in the evening sometimes when I want something to do, I'll start knocking that out. Araxor, yeah, we're just missing Jar. We're just over the drop right now, so we're not really that dry for it yet. Currently, I actually have 2 Araxor tasks stored. I just need to get to them. Unfortunately, Araxor tasks can be very long. Each task will probably take me a full day to get through. And that'll push us over 2k total probably. Or yeah, 2k kills. But yeah, we got the white Rancor because we have everything else but the jar, and that's what you need for it. We finished 3 halberds, so we're a little bit lucky on that. I don't remember what the drop rate for the heads are, but barrows I finished a long time ago. I finished it with Aram's rope top, and then immediately got an ancestral rope top from raids. That's how that worked out. Bryophyta we got spooned. Callisto we got spooned. Cerberus, 2 times drop rate for pet, but it is what it is. This one, I think I got KS pet from the Elemental at 90 some KC, and then these other 2 are from the Crazy Archaeologist, or Chaos Fanatic. It's the next one on the list, of course. Okay. So last year was the year that I focused and finished all the wildy stuff. So there's nothing new to really report there. God Wars, I am still missing a single God Wars patent. I'm over 10,000 KC, so none of these are going to be filled in. Corp I finished in 2021. Another wildy one that I finished last year. DKs, we're just missing Prime. We're at 4,000 each KC, so we're getting close to the drop rate for it. Yeah, we'll keep chugging and getting the digging out bones as we go. We finished all the DT2 stuff earlier this year with the Virtus Rope Top from Whisper. Otherwise, end of last year, we had everything done except for that, so all the pets and stuff. Most of these are well under drop rate. Fight Caves were dry for. Coliseum, like I said, we did 1 KC. All this stuff we got early waves as we were learning, and I haven't gone back to knock out the CAs, get the pet and the Ralos. We'll probably do that after Slayer. We'll do it after Slayer, or if it's some of the last remaining CAs that I need. If we really do knock out Top this year and Inferno this year, then the only thing left standing in my way will be Fortis Coliseum. So then I might prioritize getting that done. Gauntlet, like I said, we finished that earlier this year. Still missing God Wars pets. Mole, that's been years ago. Grotesque Guardians, we are over the drop rate for the jar now. It's a bit unfortunate. We have so many 1 in 5k things left to get, and it's honestly scary because it seems like we're going dry for every single one of them. Anyway, this far, nothing really to see. Huey, decently lucky that we have 2 wands at this stage. Unlucky that we don't have any tomes, and I don't think we're getting. I don't think we're near the pet rate yet. Because the pet rate's what, 1/400 if you're soloing it. Most of these are duo and trio, so we're not there yet. We just need to spend the time. Inferno, we have 4 KC. This is mostly just bingos. First KC obviously for the cape, but the second, third, and fourth as bingos have come up, and we need Inferno capes for bingo tile. That's usually what incentivized me to go get it done. KK we finished last year with the pet, and then during one of the bingos, lucked into another pet. It's just how it goes sometimes. KBD finished a while ago. Kraken a long time ago. Another God Wars pet, another God Wars pet. This came out this year. Finished it. Reasonable amount of chests. Didn't realize that you could just kill whatever was remaining, so that's why we have a dupe moon piece, because I was killing all 3 for quite a while. Next, we finished 2 years ago, I want to say. We finished with the Zambraces, actually. Everything else we had relatively early. I think at like 5,000 KC, we were missing just the hilt and the Vambraces, I think. Still only managed to get 1 Torva plate body, though, unfortunately. Nightmare, haven't really started this, really. We have done a fair amount of Fasani's. Most of this is before the drop rate increases. Lucked into a staff relatively early and just haven't seen anything since. So, a lot of work to be done here. Really waiting on Scythe and the motivation for CAs. We'll get into the CAs later, but I have all the Fasani ones done. It's just some Nightmare ones I've got to wrap up. Obar did 10 KC for the high scores way back when. Just haven't had a reason to go back and hunt this thing. It's just, it doesn't do anything for me at this point. Muspo we finished this year. Almost 2 times the rate for the pet, but the amount of... Hey. Anyway, if you see me in game, don't be afraid to say hi. Seracnus finished a while ago with the jar, actually, during a bingo. Wildy stuff. Scurries came out this year. Got it under rate. Skatizo. I don't remember what the KC was before they changed the jar drop rate, but we're not there yet. I want to say we're probably only like 100 or 150 after the drop rate was changed. So we'll keep turning those in as we get Greater Demon and Black Demon tasks. Temporas finished quite a while ago. Thermi finished quite a while ago. As per usual, you finish it, and then a bingo comes, and you go back and you get a second one really quickly. And then I had to go back after the jar was added. That's took me another 1,000 KC or something like that. DT2. Wildy bosses from last year. Wildy bosses from last year. Warcath we finished last year as well. Went over 2 times right for the pet. I didn't realize I had that many Jar of Decays, but I guess. And then since then, I've done a lot for bingos. So there are a few bosses that I don't mind doing post completion for bingos, and they are KQ, Vorkath, Zulrah, although Zulrah is not finished yet, and Krill and Bandos. Those 2 God Wars. Even when I finish them, I will be okay with doing them post log completion. Winter Todd. We saw this in the fire making video. Volcano. Yeah, so I did this Volcano before they nerfed the drop rates for the amount of loot and stuff that you get, and of course before you could choose to opt for experience over loot. But I stuck around for 3 seeds. I got a really early pet. And then during a clan event, we had a PvP Volcano event that I just happened to get a 4th seed. So that's currently sitting in the bank right now. And then Zulrah, missing a mutagen, missing a jar. Obviously not owed that mutagen for another 2,000 KC. And we're 700 KC shy of the jar. It just sucks that we got this during leagues. Same thing with the Raxar. It sucks that we got this during leagues. Raids. Yeah, we finished Chambers this year. At the start of the year, me and my partner were doing 2+1 CMs for the most part. There is a video on that, what we did, how we did it. If you're interested in that, we did all of our CMs before the recent Chambers changes. So there's been a lot of quality of life added to the raid since we did it. But Theater of Blood, missing Scythe, and Adjusty Legs. Once we get Scythe, then we'll try some hard mode, see if we can knock out those 3 things. And then over time, as bingos and as learner events and that sort of stuff comes up, we'll work on the capes. Hopefully not get the Scythe post cape like some of the people in our clan, but you can't really control that. And then TOA, the only thing left we have is the capes, and we'll probably do 150s the entire way. The thing with these capes is just that it's 160, 170 hours per cape or something like that. And again, just for a collection log, it's not worth my time at this point. I'd rather focus on getting 200 mil skills, focusing on other items that I actually need, and then eventually we'll get around to doing this. Clues, I do clues as I get them, but I haven't really been camping them too much. Beginner, we finished these during the forestry stuff from this year and last year. Just from all the nests that I got, I would turn them in as I got them, and eventually we finally finished the beginner log, and now a beginner clue is sitting in my bank the whole time. Easy. Again, I have not been doing a whole lot of camping of these clues. I get them as I get them. I haven't sat at ham members and just cranked out easy clues. Collection logs are the lowest priority for me as far as account progression. Right now, it's focused on useful items. It's focused on me right now skilling and trying to knock out that stuff. Pet hunts, jar hunts, that stuff is more important to me than focusing on doing clues. Mediums, a little bit more is filled in this log than easies, just because back in the day, going for the ranger boots filled in a lot of this. Hard clues are also pretty filled, just because Slayer gives a ton of hard clues. And at the time, I was doing a lot of hard clues, trying to get the Zamark full helm for master clues. and it took me forever to get my first one. Now, of course, it's backfilled and I've got a lot of them. Still no Dragonhide shields yet, though. So for that bullshit bingo that we were talking about, it's going to be whatever shield we get first, pretty much, is what's going to finish that tile. All these are all done. So it's basically the shields, and the heraldic, and looks like one armament kit, and that's all that is for hard clues. Elite, we actually have a significant amount of this done because I do my elite clues now. Obviously, the more rare stuff, the tuxedo, we're still working on, but I haven't gotten holy wraps yet, huh? That's surprising to me. Master, we got Bloodhound, and that's pretty much the last time I did Masters. I got the Bloodhound at 743. So since then, all of the Masters that I've gotten from lower clues are where these came from, and that's why I've been doing a lot of elite clues, because I have the Bloodhound. So I do elite clues, trying to finish this log, and whatever Masters I get, I happen to get. Only missing the rare stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously the rare stuff, we'll just look at all of them. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of gilded. No third age at all to speak of. I suppose the elite one has the Ring of Nature. The shared we have completed. It's been that way for quite a while, actually. As you can tell by how many pages we have. I think this Cernamin page 2 is my last one, though. Minigames, this should mostly be done. Barbasol, obviously missing the pet. 95 high gambles. I pretty much do this once a month for the clan, and occasionally in between we do a few runs, getting some people some torsos and stuff. So I haven't really been focusing this too hard yet. This I had to return to briefly to get these Brimhaven vouchers. They separated Brimhaven vouchers and the Agility Arena tickets so that you no longer have to choose, do I want rewards or experience? You just get both. I think Castle Wars I finished last year, and then this year was Trouble Brewing. And this was just, nice, good AFK stuff to do while I was working on other stuff. Fishing Trawler, done a long time ago. This was done the week Giant Foundry came out. This, I should do this at some point. I think this is relatively quick, and it's just collection logs. It doesn't give me anything else. I just haven't really focused on doing this yet. But it's 4 free collection logs at some point. Guardians of the Rift, I did at the time. I did have to come back for the Abyssal Blue die, because I think I got this before the drop rate. And then I had to come back for the jar for the die. I'm really dry for die, if I remember correctly. Sepulchre, we did that the week it came out. Last Man Standing, also a lot of free clogs that I have not touched this log at all. It's just I have other stuff I want to work on. But when I need to come back, there's not 32 free because there's 6 capes here. So let's say there's 25 free logs, basically. Just spend a little bit of time here. Thinking ahead to the Gilded Clog when that comes out, it's going to be, 80%, 90%, something like that, the clogs rounded down. So if I need a few to fill, that's for the Gnome Restaurant, and this will come in that I can fill in a bunch. MTA, done a long time ago. Mahogany Homes did that the week of again. Mastering Mixology did that the week of. Pest Control, Rogue's Den. Soul Wars, I did this the week of as well. It was a lot of fun doing that. Temple Trekking, Taith Farm. I don't want to talk about the second farmer's jacket. The hat is for a clue stash, though. Trouble Brewing, we finished that this year. Again, it was just good AFK time. And the Volcanic Mine, whoever decided to put this broken pick in there, I hope you stub your toe and step on some Legos. The thing is, this pick is worth less than it costs to repair it. And so when I got this thing, all I did was elk it because it was useless to me. I didn't need any more picks. And, this drop rate is something like 40 hours to get or something. Like it's not great. Aerial fishing, yeah. So we got we locked into 7 tenches doing all that aerial fishing. We bought 2 furry fishing rods, one so that it's oily, so I can do the lava eels with it. Completely finished it, including the fish sack. So with Temperos complete and this complete, I have a fish sack barrel. All pets, we are at 50 pets to end the year. I was really hoping to make it 51 with like a God Wars pet or something, but alas, we go again. What's fun for me is every time I get a Tangleroot pet, because I'm doing post 200 mil farming right now. What number is that? Oh, I'm up to 34 Tangleroots. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, I have done 4,000 chompy kills. Worm agility, I did that while riding along on vacation one day. Forestry. They say they're gonna buff the rates soon. I don't think it's gonna affect too much of that, but this is one thing that we're currently working on, the Black Demons. We're trying to get another. We're trying to get a monkey tail. I'm hoping that we get another heavy frame before the monkey tail. Given that we killed almost 3,000 of them, that means we're just about 2 times dry for this monkey tail now. And I think we're owed as an HR now. Hunter Guild. Yep. All these dupe pieces we're going to be able to turn in for some loot soon, so I'm glad I saved them all. Monkey backpacks, 2,000 monkey laps. My notes, this is from Mithril Dragons, and the last few pages you can certainly do just by like looting the corpses in there, but rather than waste the time doing that, I'm trying to get them passively through Myth Dragons themselves. Every time I go in there for a clue, every time I go to Myth Dragons, I do a lap around and loot the couple of corpses in there. But I'm not gonna go back and get these until Myth Dragons are done. Random events, we do have Estelle Baguettes. Revenants, we finished last year in like 2 weeks, I think we did all of these kills. It was quite intensive. They had changed the weapon rates on task and the Amulet of Avarice on task. They halved the rate, the base rate when you're Scald, and then you also got another 5 times more common on task. So effectively it was like 10 times more common than it was before the changes. So very, very nice, very, very good to finish those. Yep. Nothing really to see here. Skilling pets again, notable. And then these Rockies are pretty much all from, aside from the first one, they're all from like shooting stars. Slayer, this is another big one that we finished this year. We finished the Slayer tab. We already had Heart and Gem and all this other superior unique stuff. The thing that we were missing was the Dusk Mystic from Konar, and we knocked that out. Last year, the notable thing was getting the Dagon High from the Wildy stuff, and then this year they also came out with a few other miscellaneous items. The Teleport Anchoring Skull, this is from the rack sites, and then Moxie drops these 3 items. They're relatively easy to get. Tormented Demons, now that we finished Konar, we were able to do some more Tormented Demons. Finished those. We have all 3 synapses that we need. So we probably won't be coming back to these guys until we're done with Krill. Tazar, we actually started doing a little bit of this. And specifically for Bullshit Bingo is the only reason we're doing this. There's a tile for full obsidian, and so I've been late at night, not really wanting to do anything else, just killing them, an hour here, an hour there, trying to get some of these. And last but not least, the miscellaneous tab, which we're looking for the Dragonstone Gauntlets from the Crystal Chest, and then the Myth, Addy, and Rune Dragons, and that's going to be it for the tab. The notable thing that we got this year, aside from the Dragonstone from the Slayer stuff, is that we finished the Evil Chicken outfit. That's one of the other big items, big sets from this this tab here, because the Forestry Ent events guarantee give a Burk God Egg, and at the time you could get 15 God Eggs per hour or something like that. So it really lowered the time to completion for this if you focused on Forestry like I did. Pretty much all of the end of last year into 2024, that's what I was doing. I was doing Forestry a lot of woodcutting. They had announced that, hey, we're gonna nerf the Forestry events, that sort of stuff. So I was really trying to focus, get it done when I could, while I could. and since then they've reduced the rates of those tasks, or the rates of those events, unfortunately. So it's a little harder to get now. Okay, last thing I think we should note is the combat achievements. So we're currently ranked master just because it was changed to a point-based system instead of a full all or nothing up to that point and lower system. So I have a ton of Grandmaster tasks to offset the 6 Master tasks that I don't have. And so we're 264 points away. And what was the task total? 45 tasks away. So let's look by tasks, by incomplete, all. So the Master ones that we're missing are the Coliseum ones. Like I said, I got my Quiver, and then they added the CAs, and I just haven't gone back for these specific ones. I went back and I did a few of the easy ones, like the Wave 4 Manicore, I think. The Dragon Claw, the guy. So I need to. I have the emote. Oh, the red flag one. This one's another easy one that I'll probably get done relatively quickly when I go back. Yeah. And then the other two are hard mode. I have not done a hard mode Tob yet. Again, I'm waiting for a Scythe, and then doing Perfect Berserk, which not too concerned with. When I go back for Perfect Tob, it'll get along the way, so we'll get to it. The only nightmare tasks we have are Speed Task, Solo Task, and Terrible Parent. And again, Terrible Parent probably get along the way when I do the Solo Speedrunner. Again, I'm waiting for Scythe to do that. Perfect Theater, Mauritania only. This is just one that I just need to find a group of people that want to do and get it done. Speed tasks, of course. All the Infernal tasks I pretty much haven't touched yet. I just haven't gone into the Infernal. I don't even have budget set up yet. After we get the Jad Pat, we'll be doing Infernal more. The first thing I'll do is just do this budget setup with a Bofa and try to get the Flora's Lava, the Mailiers, the digging thing at the same time. The next one, probably do Playing with Jads. And Jad, what are you doing here? If I can knock those two at the same time. And then probably facing Jad head on. Now that we have a Halberd, the Noxious Halberd, this is significantly easier. And I think with a Noxious Halberd, I should be able to do this. I'm not going to say easily, because then that's going to be really, really difficult for me, but I should be able to do this. The 6 Jad challenges and 5 and 6 back to back. I have done the 5 Jad challenge. I need to try harder at the 6 Jad challenge. I haven't sent a whole lot of attempts on it yet. I went in with hubris after leagues thinking, this is pretty easy, and just went at it, and yeah, I hit a wall, so I need to practice that and get a little bit better at it. I think what we're going to do is see if I can get 2 Jads down in the 6 Jad before failing, and then just start doing 5 and 6 back to back to get the Wasn't a Fluke. And then hopefully along that path of doing 5s over and over again, we'll get the speed challenge as well. All the hard modes, as I said, haven't done any hard mode yet, so that. And the Coliseum stuff, like I said, I haven't done that since Coliseum got the CAs. Yeah, those are all the pets, all 50 of them, plus a few other unique things from like quests. There was some, the Borav and the cat. And then just some the random items and skilling outfits that I don't use, don't need. Extra sets of Graceful, Infinity set, extra Pyro, quest-based stuff. As I finish skilling outfits, they'll go in there and free up the bank space. Armors, in case they ever become useful someday. Yeah, I think that about wraps up this year-end review. Hopefully next year, and around this time, we'll have Slayer done and knocked out, and then we can look at the rest of our priority list over here and start working on some of that stuff. So yeah, hopefully you found some enjoyment out of this, and we'll see you in a couple weeks when we hit the next Slayer milestone.